Hi everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here to share some advice to help new developers get better at coding. Today's video is all about the top 10 tips for new developers to improve their code quality. As a software engineer, I know firsthand how important it is to write clean, well-structured, and properly tested code. Whether you're just starting out in software development, have some experience, or are just looking to brush up your coding skills, this video will have something important for everyone. So without any further ado, let's get into the tips. Tip number 1 is simple yet incredibly important: practice. Just like any other skill, coding takes a lot of practice and trial and error in order to perfect it. Don't be afraid to try new things and make mistakes. This is how you will learn and grow as a software developer. Tip number 2 is to use coding best practices and keep up with current trends. While it's important to be familiar with the coding standards of your team or organization, following best practices in coding ensures that you're writing quality software. Be sure to explore different approaches to coding and keep up to date with current trends and news from the software engineering world. Tip number 3 is to use a version control system. Version control systems such as Git have revolutionized software development in the past few years and are essential for any serious developer. Version control systems make it easy to work collaboratively, track changes in your code, and isolate different versions of the codebase. Tip number 4 is to comment your code. Even if you're the only one working on your codebase, it's important to document your code to make it easier to understand, find, and trace bugs. Short and clear comments can go a long way in maintaining a properly structured codebase. Tip number 5 is to use a good coding style. Adopting a good coding style includes choosing sensible variable names, writing structured code, and indenting properly. This makes reading and understanding your code much easier down the road. Tip number 6, make use of abstractions and design patterns. Abstractions and design patterns provide an efficient and clean way of doing things. Those experienced in software development are familiar with these concepts and make use of them for writing elegant and maintainable code. Tip number 7 is to read and understand other people's code. Looking through other people's code can teach you a lot. You can find out which coding style they're using and how they approach certain problems. Studying existing code can also help you to become familiar with the language you are using and with common development practices. Tip number 8, think of the user experience. It's easy to get caught up in the technical details of writing code, but it's important to keep the end user in mind when writing code. A codebase should be designed in a way that makes it easy to use and understand. Tip number 9 is to write automated tests. Writing tests helps to ensure the code you write is working properly and reduces the risk of introducing bugs. Tests also make it easy to refactor and make changes to the codebase as needed. And lastly, tip number 10 is to not forget about refactoring. Refactoring your code is important for maintainability and future development. Make sure to clean up your code regularly, keep it readable, and split up long files into smaller components. Well, that brings us to the end of the top 10 tips for new developers to improve their code quality. I hope you found this useful and that you can put these tips into practice when writing code. If coding is something you're passionate about, keep at it and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Good luck!